I used to think scaling a print-on-demand store would be gradual. Slowly, the sales would increase over time, but I was completely wrong. On June 23rd of 2020, I did a little over $300 in sales. And just 12 days later, I did $25,000 in sales in one day. Now, in almost that 2-week span, I did over $65,000 in sales and made $13,000 in profit. Honestly, it happened so fast that it felt illegal. I thought I was going to get in trouble. But that moment flipped everything that I believed about business and about what's actually possible with print on demand. So if you're stuck thinking that this takes years of work, let me walk you through the 4 biggest lessons that absolutely shattered that belief and helped me to scale faster than I ever thought possible. So the first lesson that this absolutely shattered was that I thought success takes time. Now, I used to believe that you had to slowly chip away at business for months or years before it ever paid off. I expected growth to be slow and steady and earned only through long-term effort. But honestly, in June of 2020, when all of this started happening, that entire belief went out the window because in a span of 12 days, I made more money than I did in 2 months worth of my nursing career. And that was made over the course of 12 days. That to me was absolutely mind-blowing. And to be perfectly clear, it wasn't like I started this store and in 3 days it scaled to $25,000 a day. I had already had a store that didn't do well. But I took everything that I had learned from that first store that, didn't do well. I did less of what didn't work and did more of the stuff that had some traction. So I went into this store kind of already laying a foundation of what could potentially carry me to the success that I later on had. These 2 weeks completely shattered my belief that time equals success. What actually matters is alignment. You have to have the right product with the right audience and the right message at the right time. So stop waiting for enough time to pass to think that you'll then be successful. Instead, focus on getting the alignment right. Who are you talking to? What are you offering them? And how are you showing up each and every day? When those things are locked in, growth doesn't just trickle in, it explodes. Now, the second lesson that this entire ordeal just completely shattered was that big numbers must mean big operations, big teams, or big budgets. I thought that hitting big numbers of revenue required a full-blown team, potentially some office space, a huge ad budget, and I assumed that I couldn't scale without looking like a real business from the outside. But instead, when I scaled to $65,000 in 2 weeks, I was at home on my laptop with zero inventory, and all this started out by testing ads for $25 a day. I used print on demand, ran it lean, and I moved fast. I didn't need an office space or a warehouse. I needed leverage, the kind that you get when the product market message fit is tight and the tools are already built to help you scale. So forget about trying to look big or feel legit in your business before you think you can be successful. Instead, stay lean, use print on demand so that you don't need any inventory, and treat small budgets like the data gathering machines that they are. With the right systems and the right offer, you don't need size, you need smart leverage. Now, I know this may sound really overwhelming, like everything I've said so far of how fast all of this happened, and I totally understand that it might feel like a lot. That's exactly why we created our free school community, and I've linked it for you in the description below. Inside, you'll gain access to a completely free 31-hour Shopify print-on-demand course, as well as the exact ad copy that I use to scale not only this store, but all of my other brands afterwards, word for word. I want to give this to you as a gift so that you can hopefully experience scaling so fast that honestly it feels illegal and that you're doing something wrong. So I want you to use it, build with it, and if you're ready to stop guessing and start growing, the tools are already waiting for you inside of the community. I've linked it again in the description below. But enough about that. Let's get into lesson 3 about the mindset that completely got flipped when I scaled so fast. And that is that scaling is a slow, steady climb. Now, I believe believed that growth happened gradually because you hear big businesses talk about that. Like, oh, we've grown 10% over the last 3 quarters. Okay. It sounds gradual, 10%. And I assumed that you post, you test, you learn, adjust, you post, you test, you learn, adjust, and then eventually it slowly starts to scale up, one small step at a time. But what I didn't realize was that algorithms like Facebook ads don't scale like that. Instead, they scale exponentially when you give them the right budget. The high-performing product or ad can trigger a feedback loop that goes viral extremely fast. And that's exactly what happened in this scenario. I had one design that just slowly started getting traction, and it almost felt like a snowball rolling down the hill and just getting bigger and bigger. And the ROAS was climbing, and as it was doing that, all we were doing was bumping the budget and just feeding that ad as much as we could. And I went from testing it to panic refreshing my dashboard in a few days because I wasn't believing the sales that I was seeing. So my message to you is to treat every product or ad as a potential spark for exponential growth. Don't just assume that slow means steady. If your ad is ready and showing traction, then the algorithm will carry you. You just need to feed it. Now, lesson 4 that completely got flipped when I scaled as quickly as I did was that you have to be ready before you scale. I thought everything had to be perfect before I turned up the gas. Now, my systems, my website, my email flows, all dialed in. Otherwise, I would collapse under pressure and all of the customers that would be swarming the site. But when the orders started flooding in, guess what? Nothing was perfect. It was an absolute madhouse. And honestly, that moment changed so much for me because I realized how powerful that situation was, that you can have success without having everything fully dialed in. And if I had waited to completely perfect everything on my store and have everything right and it just be prim and proper and looking beautiful, I could have completely missed out on taking advantage of scaling this one particular design because it all had to do with the time of year and with COVID going on. Now, it wasn't a directly COVID related shirt, but it was enough to get engagement from people where they were basically pulling in COVID being a part of the design naturally. So at the time, I didn't have airtight systems, but scaling forced me to build them on the spot. Instead of being ready, I instead needed to get resourceful. And all that chaos honestly built the foundation that I had been waiting on. So here's the message that I have for you. Launch before you're ready. Let scale be your teacher. You're going to learn so much more when you're actually getting into the analytics and the ad account and doing this. If something breaks, you fix it. You don't need to build the perfect system and then grow. You grow and then build the system that supports it. Now, scaling has always been one of the most exciting times in my business, but none of it, and I mean none of it, would have been possible if I didn't have a print-on-demand provider that could scale with me. That's why I want to thank Printify for sponsoring today's video, and more importantly, for being my fulfillment partner since day one of my print-on-demand journey. I have been working with Printify since 2020, and they were actually the brand that was fulfilling the products for the store I've been talking about in this video. Printify supports millions of sellers around the globe, but what really sets them apart is this. They give you control over your business. If you're anything like me and you're trying to make this a full-time job, then nothing matters more than your cost of goods. It's always going to be your biggest expense, and after scaling multiple stores to 7 figures over the last 5.5 years, I can confidently say that no one beats Printify's pricing. I am always searching for ways to improve my margins, and Printify consistently gives me the best pricing and the freedom to choose my suppliers, compare costs, and scale on my terms. So if you're serious about this and you want a provider that grows with you, I can't recommend anyone more than Printify. And here's the best part. If you want to get 1 month of Printify Premium completely for free, then just click the link in the description below and use the code WeScale. And remember, if you're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect product, or the perfect system, just know that growth doesn't wait and it doesn't move slow. When it hits hard. And the only question is, will you be ready to take advantage of it? If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. It would absolutely mean the world to me. And if you want to grab that free ad copy that I use to scale multiple brands to 7 figures, then just click the link in the description below and join my free school community. There, you'll grab the ad copy and you'll also have access to a 31-hour print-on-demand course. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.